My 23 meters girlfriend, 24F, and I have been dating for more than 7 months now. We see each other 1 to 2 times a week and we usually spend a night together every week. I won't go into too many details, but I love her so much, and I don't doubt that she loves me back as well. Only thing is, I feel a bit vulnerable. I know it's only my anxious inner monologue speaking, but I dread the day she takes me for granted. One reason is because, for example, I'm the one planning dates/trips most of the time. I'm not one to play games when I love someone dearly, and I certainly don't want to play games with her because she's really good to me. However, oftentimes, when I try to plan a date a week in advance, she'd respond with something along the lines of "sure, I'm down, but let me confirm it later." Very often I would only get a definitive answer the day before, which kinda stresses me out because I fear that I'll be let down last minute and become planless. I need y'all's input. Would it be better to lay back for a while and let her take the reins for a bit? I don't want to test her because a relationship is really healthy and she's awesome to hang around with, as in I don't feel taken for granted when I'm physically with her. Or am I sweating it too much? Maybe one of the reasons she loves me is because I make her my priority more often than not. I'm trying to find a sweet spot. TL. Doctor, I fear being taken for granted, and I sometimes feel too available to myself. What should I do? Is it a good trait to be available? Too available is not a thing. Please don't get sucked into playing relationship games. Just be real. If you're free to be with her, be free to be with her. The type of person to take someone for granted isn't going to do it based on whether or not you're playing aloof "I don't need you, I have fake plans" games, or if you're just being available to spend time with. It would be clear by now, surely, if there were some sort of concerns. Address those, not imaginary ones. If you don't like plans being confirmed till last minute and you feel like she's using you as a last resort, you need to discuss that. Thank you for your answer. You're right. I guess my worst enemy is myself making up fake scenarios. Have you tried talking to her? Yes, I did once. I told her that sometimes it might make me feel a little bit like I'm an option. She felt quite offended when I told her I felt not wanted. I shouldn't have worded it like that, but thankfully we made it up later on. It sounds to be like she's your first priority, and you may or may not be hers. Instead of playing games, which laying back on purpose *WOULDBE*, talk to her. Tell her how it makes you feel, and how it stresses you out when you end up having to put things together last minute for something you asked her about a week prior. It's possible that she doesn't realize what she's doing. If her behavior continues, then you have your answer. After that you can decide if you want to play second fiddle for the rest of your lives, or if you want to find someone that's more engaged in a relationship with you. I'm willing to make concessions in order to stay with her. She's done so much for me, and I want to reciprocate that onto her. But definitely, communication here seems to be best. I'm not gonna bother her too much about it as I'm sure it'll work out fine. Don't play games. Ask her why she does that, and explain how it makes you feel. I know it could feel like she's waiting to see what her options are, but maybe there's more to it. And maybe have a backup plan in mind if she doesn't want to hang out, so you aren't left in the lurch. Longer relationships can be tricky because you have to balance building the relationship with maintaining all your other friendships and responsibilities. When she says "sure, I'm down, but let me confirm it later," this is your time to say, when you say that "it makes me feel like you expect better plans to come along." Is that the case? My guess is that you're a planner and she's not, which should come out in a conversation started by that line. If so, work out a compromise if you can. One day a week you always have plans, and then play it by ear other days. Also, people are often reluctant to speak up because they're afraid of blowing up a relationship. But that's what dating is for. It's much better to blow it up now if you're not compatible or the other person is a jerk. Much worse to find out about an incompatibility after 6 years, a mortgage and a kid. Yeah, you're right. I should do that next time, or at least be more open about how I interpret things. I'm scared of going at her still. I don't want her to feel judged, but I'll definitely speak up my mind a little more if I feel left out. Hopefully there won't be a next time. The thing about a healthy relationship is that both people want to be in it voluntarily. At 7 months, you shouldn't need to be making all of these elaborate plans to keep her interest/attraction. Why not tone it down a bit? Still do special things for special occasions, but just try and be a little more spontaneous for your dates. This takes pressure off you for so much planning and also lets you see that she might really like you just because of you. That's true. Seems like I'm stressing it out more than necessary. The only issue here is, possibly, that you're overthinking things. But we all have feelings, and we have them. We don't control them. Just talk to her about it. She just may not be used to scheduling things so far in advance. This isn't a huge issue you're bringing up, so it shouldn't cause a lot of anxiety. It's also good practice for any more serious issues in the future. The bottom line is that you two need to talk about things and bring up problems or perceived problems if they arise. Just be open and honest and tell her how you feel. You're right, communication really helps. I'm just scared to be too much. You don't have to do anything other than exercise effective communication. As the anxious one, much of the burden of communication may, unfortunately, fall on you. You'll have to tell her how you feel. Myself, being an avoidant type, I'd appreciate my partner coming to me with questions of how to support me and how to meet me halfway. But these things are hard for me to make the space because I already have a hard time making space, especially when it comes to feelings. Even if it's supposed to be half my responsibility, you just gotta keep them lines of communication open and go at a level of participation. If left neglected, these things can eventually turn into resentment down the road. So better to address sooner rather than later. The safer she feels around you, the more likely she'll feel to come to you with her feelings as well. Thank you for your POV. It really helps to hear someone who's an avoidant type as well. You should be focused with your own goals and ambitions. Have a weekend for yourself and the boys. You can't have your whole world revolving around her. Yeah, I'm trying to get back on track with my hobbies and other things like that. Stop worrying so much. If it don't work out, that's tough. At the end of the day, be yourself. Don't change for women. Is your GF going to school, have a job, a tight group of friends, lots of relatives, really into certain hobbies? It's okay and normal for her to have a life outside of you. It's also okay for you to have a life outside of hers. If she's busy with something, it doesn't mean she doesn't care about you. My advice would be to 1. Stop planning so much. Let her reach out and plan things for you both. It's also possible she might just want to hang out with you on the couch every now and again instead of constantly going out too. Make the dates predictable. For example, always Wednesdays and Saturdays, or whatever days work for your schedules. You know she's free on those days and she will know to avoid booking stuff on those days. 3. Do things on your own. I know you love your GF, but it's a myth that you need to do everything together. Thanks a lot for your answer. It's true that she is knees deep into her master's degree in criminology, which I've heard is one of the hardest topic in university. Sometimes I should remind myself that I'm not the center of the world. No one wants to be around someone like that. You are still early in the relationship and, based on what you say, it's not excessive time being together. Also, it is your job as the man to lead, so she can feel like a feminine woman. So I wouldn't sweat it, just maintain her respect by being masculine and by being a leader. Maybe don't plan so far in advance. Make the suggestion a few days ahead. She should be able to confirm on the spot. Waiting a whole week for a confirmation is no fun. Would it be better to lay back for a while and let her take the reins for a bit? Yes, if you tell her that's what you are doing. I get the impression sometimes that I might making you feel pressured to make plans. So for a while I'd like to put you in charge of that. That way I will know that you are in the mood to get together and I won't feel like I'm wait till the last minute to see someone who isn't really up for it. As a female myself, I would say perhaps pulling back a little bit on the planning is a great idea. You are not the only one in the relationship that can come up with activities to do together. And maybe saying I don't like the anxiety it gives me when I plan something and you don't let me know if we are doing it until the day before is better than saying you don't feel fully appreciated. Myself personally, I will always let my boyfriend know if I'm interested in doing whatever activities he or I may have planned right away, and typically we plan together. If she shows lack of interest, or trying when she's given the option maybe you're not perfect for each other, or need to come up with a different game plan, everything will work out. Best of luck. Thank you for your advice. I think you need to be straightforward. Next time you ask, and she says her usual line, set a boundary. Say something like, no, let me know by tomorrow, so I can rearrange my plans if you're not available. If she gets offended, let it be. Boundaries are better than no boundaries. If you're too available, it might mean you need to get your own life. Spend time building relationships with other people too. And make sure to designate and protect some days as quality me time. Could also be an anxious avoidant attachment. People have different attachment styles in their relationships. I'm guessing you need lots of confirmation, reassurance, affirmations. She needs space, downtime, is overwhelmed by emotions and expressions. These things are okay, and they can work, but you guys need to give in to the other person's thing a little bit. This doesn't mean you giving her the flexibility and leeway in the world. This also means her giving you some confirmation and confidence in your plans and status of your relationship. Check out some podcasts on this relationship style and see if it feels right to you. At least learn about the anxious attachment style and you'll learn some things about yourself, and you can offer advice on how you most feel supported for future relationships and be able to communicate your needs more clearly. Yeah, definitely have an anxious attachment. While she might be more avoidant, hard to live with when you're a man, I guess, or rather I need to work on how I perceive things. I don't really see any issue here. I think you may just be overthinking things. You sound exhausting. Oh yeah, I'm exhausting to myself. But it's good that you pointed out. I've been struggling with severe depression for a couple months now, and my best guess was that my inner monologue would be a pain for others to listen to. Thank you for reading my post and confirming what I was already aware of. So would you rather her commit to the plan, something come up, and you then be cancelled on, or would you rather her tell you she's up for it, but just wants to be sure? I'd sure as hell want the second one. Yeah, true that. Without knowing why she needs to confirm, it's hard to say if she's taking advantage. For example, if she needs to confirm because she often has to work late and has no control over the schedule, then it's reasonable on her end. Other reasonable reasons might pop up, but overall it's unfair to keep someone waiting. What you can do is this. You can say, I need to know if you can get together by such and such day, because if you can't, I would like to make plans with friends. That's setting a boundary, and it's important that you adhere to it. So if she doesn't confirm plans with you and then last minute says she's free, don't get together if you've already made other plans. That will teach her to respect your boundaries, and it's not gamma playing. I don't think it's testing someone to expect them to make plans every once in a while and pursue you back. That's just the basis of a relationship. I would feel the same if I was always the one asking them to spend time together. And if I felt that I was always putting in the effort, I would definitely step back and wait until they pursued me back. If they didn't, and it wasn't because they were legitimately busy with other things in life, I would end the relationship. Everyone should make an effort for their partner, and life is hard enough without having to convince someone that they're into you, or that you're exciting enough to be around. It bothers you, so it's not a case of sweating too much. It's a good trait to be available, but that doesn't mean she gets to trample over you. Fairness would mean for her to react in due time. So you should talk about it. In case you already did, or will, and it doesn't work, there's no need for you to keep the plan open indefinitely. Say it's a plan for Saturday, you give her time to answer until Tuesday, and if there's no reaction there will be no plan. You need to absolutely stick to this. Wednesday is too late. Maybe you've even plans with someone else. The point is to show her that she can't do just as she pleases. You are just as valid and important as her. She will hate you the first time, that's for sure. But keep it up, and you'll see her attitude change. I think it's really sexy when a man is initiating and planning the dates. I'm sure she likes this a lot. But also, she sounds like she's trying to plan around her schedule too. She must be busy accomplishing other things also. Maybe it's harder for her to say several days in advance if she can go or not. As long as she confirms or cancels good time, then it should be fine. Relationships take compromise. Stop feeling scared, bro. 7 months is such a fun time for a relationship. Don't ease up on the reins. Just keep going. And just enjoy. Stop tripping.